Mark Tronson is quite an extraordinary person. In 1964, Mark spent his high school years in Canberra at Narrabundah High School. Mark also played hockey and track and field. He then left home at 16 to become a train driver in Port Kembla in 1977. In 1976, Mark played the saxophone in the church band. He also got engaged to Delma and they were married in 1977. In 1979, Mark graduated from Morlings Seminary with a Bachelor of Theology and then Honours. Some years later, in 1986 and 1989, he completed 2 doctorates in sports chaplaincy. In 1984, Mark was appointed the Australian cricket team chaplain and travelled the nation negotiating chaplaincy with the Professional Sports and Initiated Country Town Tour Ministry. Mark was invited to the 1984 Olympics as a chaplain, and in 2000 he was sent to Lausanne, Switzerland by the IOC Vice President Kevin Gosper to help develop a religious services for future host city Olympic villages. In 2009, Mark travelled to Canada to discuss their Winter Olympic facilities. He led tours to the Holy Land, the early churches and Anzac, preaching at Anzac Cove. In 1992, in Moruya, New South Wales South Coast, Mark's Athlete Respite project, Basil Sellers House, was officially opened for the Australian Institute of Sport Elite Athletes Respite. In 2003, the Moruya Basil Sellers Art Gallery was opened. Mark and Delma served from 1992 to 2006. In 2009, Mark and Delma Tronson were presented the Olympic Ministry Medal by the IOC Ambassador Carl Lewis at a gala function in Dallas, Texas. In 2008, Christian Today asked Mark to become a columnist, and in 2009, the new editor, David Chang, asked for a second daily article on sport. Instead, Mark found 5 young people to write about sport, which initiated the Young Writer Ministry. An annual Christian Today conference has been held since 2013. The Basil Sellers Award is the major signature award each year. In 2020, the Australian Award went to Katia Moore from the Sunshine Coast. In 2015, Basil Sellers met with the then Young Writers Brains Trust, and in 2019, the Australasian Religious Press Association awarded its premier award to the Young Writer Ministry of Mark and Delma Tronson, the Golden Logies of Christian print media. Basil Sellers is a wonderful support in our Christian Today writing community. At the 2020 conference, portrait artist Summer Moore presented a painting of Mark holding the Gutenberg Award to Dr. Mark Tronson. After 18 years founding sports chaplaincy, heads of churches saw Mark was burnt out. In the year 2000, Wellbeing Australia was well set up for them to continue their ministry with volunteers. Mark and Delma relocated to Tweed Heads in December 2005 and continued the Queensland AIS Sport Unit Respite, and Mark was able to further develop his art ministry while recuperating. Upon his heart was to have a cottage for missionary respite. Laguna Keys Respite on Repulse Bay on the Whitsundays came into being. Mark and Delma have always been faith-financed, and this was no different. Their heart was to provide a cottage without charge for missionaries. Basil Sellers visited, and as a result, a second missions respite was opened at Aldinga Beach, Adelaide, then a third at Greens Beach, Bay Strait. All 3 missionary respite facilities have strong bookings. The Laguna Keys Respite mission visitors mostly fly into Proserpine, where Avers provides a missionary discount. The Laguna Keys policy is that each mission family clean it up and ensure it is spotless for the next visitors. This continues to work well. Mark and Delma are indeed quiet Australians. They have 4 adult children and 5 grandchildren. The legacy that Mark and Delma Tronson have within the Christian Today community is an extraordinary one indeed. Delma has 80% low-tone deafness and Mark stutters, except when preaching. In 2005, he was voted one of Australia's top 25 evangelical preachers in the New Life magazine. They have done so much for the writers and continue to bless us with their kindness, generosity and support. This storybook video was produced by Katia Moore as a testimony of the joy of the Lord of a quiet Australian couple. Thank you for watching this video and have a great rest of your day.